Welcome back, everybody. This is Derek Kirby, and this is not a live stream. Not a live stream. However, this is back for an impromptu video. I have been making up some changes, change ups, however you want to put it, and I am working towards the next big thing. How is that for a vague statement? I referenced recently there are two projects in the works, both of which have been a long process, one of which I've been talking about for years. And it's finally in a point where I can really dive in full force to it. I could not, cannot, could not, will not, won't not, have not, will not, won't not. I don't think I could be more excited than I already am. So that I'm not going to get too deep into what it is yet. Just know there is something badass coming down the pike, and it will be the most ambitious thing this channel has ever attempted. You saw TPN? Cool. Great. That doesn't hold a candle to this. However, before we get there, there are some continued growth and progression steps along the way. Tonight, the Mavericks host the Houston Rockets, the new look James Hardenless Houston Rockets for the first time since 2012. And in that, we'll get a good idea of where this team stands. They're coming off a great win against San Antonio. They won the game before that against the Pacers. However, we know Kristaps Porzingis is out tonight. Not surprising to me that the Mavericks would rest him on the second night of a back-to-back. And they beat the Rockets earlier this season without him as well, and that was with Harden. So I think even though it's on a back-to-back, and I think they're willing to eat the loss if they have to, but I think they also feel the utmost confidence in this roster to overcome this and potentially still get out with a win while protecting KP. This has to do with his conditioning. Like, it does. You could see in that San Antonio game, granted, both teams were absolutely running and gunning in that game. That was a fast paced game for Dallas this year. And I think it wore on KP. You could see him getting fatigued. Still played very well in that game. But you could see the fatigue factoring in. And you want to be as cautious as absolutely possible when managing a guy's health. And when you're dealing with extreme fatigue and playing so soon again, that's when you start to open that door for disaster. So KP in that game, 33 minutes. He had 30 against Indiana as well. I think 31. And in this game, he had 21, looks like 8 and an assist on 7 of 14, 3 of 5, 4 of 4 at the line, 2 blocks and a steal. KP played great against San Antonio. Obviously, we know what Luka did. We know what Brunson did, what Hardaway did. We know how this team did. But I think it's smart to not risk the long-term picture in your mind. You don't want to risk the long-term goal for the short-term gain. And I think that's what Dallas is trying to do here. So no KP tonight. We'll see how they do against the Rockets. I still feel pretty good about the game, but we just have to see. We have to see what kind of gas in the tank Luka has. If Brunson can continue to build on this, he's been brilliant for Dallas as a starter this year. Now, when the guys get back, when Finney-Smith and Josh Richardson get back, when Maxey gets back, more so the two I mentioned first, because obviously Maxey's not going to play in place of Brunson. But once the guys come back in, he'll go back to the bench where he's been good this year. He's actually like damn near in the 50, 40, 90 club so far this year through 15 games. But if he can continue on that and they're able to build on this despite still being depleted for some very key players, this will be another great win for Dallas. But I'm saying now, if they lose, don't fret, don't freak out. It's fine. This team is still in a very good place moving forward. They're currently sitting, what is their current standing here? I think they're sitting at 7th. Yeah, 7th in the West right now. I mentioned the Warriors the other day when I was on with Kevin Gray. They were sitting at the 5 seed. The Warriors are down to the 8 seed. Literally, it was one game ahead of Dallas. That's how jumbled up everything is. So don't look at the 7 seed or a day ago look at the 9 seed and be like, oh, this team's crap. They got to do everything. Like, it's fine. Until you get to the top 3 seeds, everyone is 8-6 or worse. You're 8-7. You're a half game behind the Suns. Well, they got the tiebreaker, but you get my point. You're right there all the way for going into the top 4 seeds. So don't sweat it. The only teams that are running out ahead of everybody right now are the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Jazz. And the Jazz have won like 7 or 8 straight. The Clippers have been very good since you beat up on them. They've won 6 straight. And yeah, there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to consider. But this team is still sitting in a very jumbled but very manageable situation, regardless of tonight's result. I will be doing another show here. I think I like this formula where I'm going to do probably 3 shows a week. And one of those shows at least is going to have a guest. Be that Saad Yusuf of The Athletic, be that Kevin Gray Jr. of 105.3 The Fan, be that Jimmy from All Things Mavs, be that any, be that James, whoever, like I think we're going to bring in one guest a week for a segment, do some crosstalk and talk Mavericks, or, as we get to it later on, we'll talk Cowboys or whatever as we get into the more pertinent season stretch for those teams and when it's relevant. But for right now, I think that's a good formula where 2 of the 3 shows a week, we're just going to operate kind of as ourselves, as we've done this whole time. And then we're going to give you that little nugget of treat, bring in some great perspectives here, talk Mavs or whoever we're talking about, and just continue to build this thing. So I'm about to get ready and start jumping into the pregame press conference stuff related to the Mavericks. Hang tight. I'll be covering this game tonight, so I'll have clips, audio, all of that for a show probably tomorrow morning. And we'll run it back similar to how we did against the Bucks last Friday. So stay tuned. This is just a quick update video. Until next time, remember, every legend was once a prospect. Peace. Wrong scene, DDP.
This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP.